Hello everybody, welcome to Laura the Love Coach. So today I'm doing something a little different. I'm actually taping this in my car. So just for, an extra few minutes, so you might hear the cars going around every once in a while. Such a beautiful day out, so I was like, might as well make a video, right? What else is there to do? So anyway, I did a video not too long ago about standards, and I'd like to talk kind of about that, about the beginning of the relationship and things that should be happening in the beginning. Like when you first meet someone, how you should act on that first date. So there's a few things that you could do on your first date, which is when you go on that date, um, try to be open with the person that you're having that date with, but also ask questions. The person who asks the most questions is actually the person who's in control. So that's a good cue, and people love to talk about themselves. So it's good to keep asking questions. So get that person to talk about themselves more and more and more, and they're going to actually enjoy the date if they keep asking questions. I mean, you don't want to just like you know 20 questions right away. Just keep asking questions like that really fast, because then they're going to feel overwhelmed. But you do want to ask a lot of questions and ask unique questions. Ask questions like, why did you decide to go into this particular career? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? If you could be doing anything at this moment and anywhere, and you could be anywhere doing anything at this moment, what would you be doing? What are your goals? What are your dreams? Things like that. So that's a good thing to do. Those are good questions to ask on a first date. But keep the conversation moving. You can reveal things about yourself, but you don't want to reveal too much because you want to seem a little mysterious. Because people are more attracted to someone who's more mysterious. So you want to do that. That would help not to answer too many questions, not to let it lull too much. He gets onto a question, asks you something, ask the same question back to him. Like he asks you, why are you single or something like that, ask the question right back out. Well, say I'm picky, and I just want someone who would share my life with me. I want them to be, someone who's really open to things, or whatever you're looking for in a mate. So that's something you could say to them and say, well, why are you single? You seem like a great guy or a great woman. Why are you single? What happened to make you single? And they may do expect them to kind of mimic your answer, though. A lot of people do that after they've already been asked that question. After they've already asked that question to you, they might mimic that question right back to you, with the answer right back to you. They may say, like you said, you were open to look for this. They'd be like, oh, the same reason as you. Yeah, I'm like this, like this. So it's good to ask the questions first because you're more the control, and they're not going to just be mimicking those answers right back to you. They're actually going to come up with a unique answer. So that's kind of good. But also, if you are going to ask a question, have an answer to that question too for yourself. So when he asks that question to you, you're not just mimicking, because nobody likes someone that just mimics, right? You want something unique. So you don't want to just have like, oh, okay, I asked this question, I got a really unique answer, which was awesome, but now I'm just going to mimic back the same answer. So have answers to those, especially the interesting questions that you ask. Have an answer to that. Think about it. I mean, you're kind of giving it to them at the spur of the moment, which is good, but you want to, because it's human nature to mimic. So you don't want to just be mimicking something back. You don't want to put that into the conversation. You want to make sure that you have something unique to tell them and things like that, okay? Another thing is standards. Like I talked about standards in one of my other videos, but having standards when you meet somebody to make sure that you're not letting them say things and do things that you wouldn't normally like, that you would normally do just to please them and to get them to like you. Also, ask questions. Okay, if he says something you might, or he or she says something you might not completely agree with, or you might not like, or it turns you off, ask questions about what he just said. Like if he says, I don't like to go out for pizza, or I like to party all the time. Why do you like to party all the time? What else do you do? Ask a question. Because what happens with, if you don't ask questions and you don't confront it, a lot of times you'll end up ghosting that person. And you'll just say, I didn't like that thing that he said. And instead of confronting him about, like, why did he say that, or let him elaborate on it, you might just end up, like, I don't want to take his call, and this isn't really going to work out. Instead of saying, hey, why did you say that? Or what reason do you have to do that? Or why did you do this? Or why did you do that? So it's much better to confront those issues before you become a ghoster, because nobody wants to be a ghoster. I mean, you may have your reasons, say, oh, I know exactly. And you may not feel bad about ghosting because you're like, well, he said this and he said this. But sometimes when you get an answer and you really question it and make that person delve more into it, you actually get a good reason for it. And then you might say, oh, well, that actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. You know, I was thinking along the lines of something else. So it's good to ask more questions, get them to delve more. Like one guy told me, I don't drive. And at first I was turned off. I was like, kind of like a guy that drives. Because I've been on a lot of dates before where guys didn't drive and I always had to drive them around. So what I did was I asked why he didn't drive. And he actually gave me a really legitimate reason why he didn't drive. But he was going to be driving in the future. So he had a really legitimate reason, and actually I didn't, I would have normally just kind of said it's not going to work out or something like that. But once I asked some questions about it, I actually figured, I was like, actually, he's kind of a good guy, and that's a good reason, and I could see that happening to me as well. So it's good to confront these issues before you become a ghoster or before you just don't contact this person anymore. Okay, so I think that's all I have time for today. This is a very short video. I just wanted to talk about a few of the things that you could do in the beginning to avoid things later on, right? Okay, to avoid ghosting, and also things that will help you with the date. Because you don't want to be like it's too boring. You don't want to be always asking questions, because even answering questions, because even though the guy's asking all the questions, it may still feel like you were basically talking about yourself the entire date. So try to avoid that. Okay, so if you would like an email answered, I'm going to put my email in the link, but it is TheRelationshipGal at gmail.com. And if you want to donate, you could also donate. I'll put a link. Thank you.